What does it mean to have your moon in Gemini and in the 10th house? Find out now by watching today's video. Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Isabel, your spiritual rebel friend, and today we're talking about what it means to have your moon in Gemini in your birth chart and in the 10th house. Because yes, knowing the sign that your moon is in is important in and of itself. It tells you what your emotional needs and patterns are. But the house that your moon in Gemini is in tells you where this desire will show up and how these patterns will surface in your life. So understanding the sign house combination is essential to living a fulfilling life. So in today's video specifically, I'm going to cover the moon in Gemini, the moon in 10th house, the Gemini moon in 10th house, and how this Gemini moon in 10th house will likely show up in love, in career, and finances. And finally, to wrap up today's video, we'll talk a bit about self-care practices that a moon in Gemini in 10th house may specifically want to take into account. So if you're looking for practical ways to align to your chart to your benefit, watch through to the end of this video. And if you like today's video, stay tuned to the end where I'll talk more about my other astrology offerings that you may be interested in. But without further ado, let's get into the moon in Gemini in 10th house. Starting off with what is basically, simply put, a moon in Gemini. Someone who has a moon in Gemini is deeply emotionally fulfilled by having stimulation, novelty, and adaptability in their lives. Because it is an air sign, these people tend to intellectualize their emotions and find a deep sense of emotional satisfaction through having mental stimulation. The moon in Gemini has a tendency to want to take in a lot of information. These people are driven by their desire to learn and be curious. Some people embrace this in more of a social setting by being social butterflies who ask a lot of questions, and other moon in Geminis embrace this in more introverted ways where you can find them deeply researching their next passion of some kind. The moon in Gemini also may have a tendency towards anxiety if they do not channel their hyperactive, high mental energy. The moon in Gemini seeks to feel a sense of novelty in what they do, not just research. And so these people can often be found wanting to pursue new interests, pursue new hobbies, or are drawn to doing versatile new activities, whether that is learning to go axe throwing or skydiving or something else of the like. The moon in Gemini seeks a sense of diversity in what they do, and they want to feel stimulated while they do it. So sometimes they embrace this again in more introverted means. Maybe novelty for them just means the latest new TV show. Other times it can be more extreme for them in learning a new hobby or craft. If you want a more in-depth guide to the moon in Gemini, check out my video talking about the Gemini moon. Those who have their moon in the 10th house of career and profession are emotionally fulfilled in their career. The moon in 10th house indicates that their emotional fulfillment in life mainly comes through their career, through having a profession. These people aren't satisfied by living just a simple life or having a simple job. These people need to feel that they have authority and that they're doing what they're absolutely best at. So simply put, a moon in 10th house needs to feel that they have a profession and a career path, or else they find themselves feeling lacking in fulfillment. On top of that, I would add as a subtle final note to this interpretation, I've met so many moon in 10th houses who have found that they are more fulfilled by maintaining a career rather than going through stereotypical retirement. So what does it mean to have your moon in Gemini and in the 10th house? Again, the moon in Gemini seeks a sense of stimulation, adaptability, curiosity, and flexibility in their lives. They want to feel like they're flexing their mental muscles. But when this is specifically in the 10th house, this mental energy is meant to be channeled into the career. For example, a moon in Gemini can often be stereotyped as this very much, I would call, 5th house energy, personally, is what I've noticed, where they say they want to learn new hobbies, they want to crochet and craft and learn new skills and go to workshops, which is very 5th house energy in my view in this interpretation. But a moon in Gemini at its core seeks a sense of stimulation in a specific field. And so when this is in the 10th house, the moon in Gemini seeks to feel a sense of mental flexing of muscles in their career. These are the people who channel instead of into crafts and creativity. This is about finding a sense of adaptability and versatility in their career. So Moon in Gemini not only wants to feel that their career itself is adaptable and versatile, they want to feel that they are valued and recognized in their career for their adaptability, versatility, and curiosity. Stereotypically, one interpretation of a Gemini Moon in 10th house is they want to be recognized for their ability to research. Now, additionally, this could be more of an extroverted role. They want to be recognized for their ability to socially network. It's a very interesting placement having the Moon in 10th house that I'm going to be creating a follow-up video or at least a TikTok on, because the 10th house is the house of recognition. It's where we are most seen, and seen in a professional way. It's our authority. But the Moon sign and our Moon in general in our chart is the most protected version of ourselves. It's like our inner child that we hide behind closed doors and wait for to feel safe in order to express. So to have this very vulnerable part of us in the 10th house means that we are wanting to find a sense of recognition for this vulnerable part of ourselves, and that can feel a bit uncomfortable. So the Moon in Gemini in 10th house has a deep desire to feel recognized and like they have a sense of authority for their curiosity, their mental abilities, their communication abilities, their adaptability, flexibility, their dynamism, so to call it. But at the same time, because this is the Moon sign, it can feel like there is a fear with showing this. So Moon in Gemini may feel in the 10th house torn between wanting to be recognized for their mentally adaptable nature that can handle a lot of information, and yet at the same time, they may shy away from hiding this part of themselves because it is so vulnerable. So simply put, what is more important for you to note and more practical as a Moon in Gemini and in the 10th house is that you seek your sense of fulfillment in life through your career. With the Moon in Gemini in 10th house, this indicates that you crave for emotional fulfillment, curiosity, flexibility, adaptability, versatility in your life, specifically through your career. So having a career path that allows you to use your mental muscles, be more communicative, acquire information, use your knowledge, use your skill sets, create, learn new skills. That's going to be something you want to embrace in your career. If you have more a stereotypical career where you just do a task well, you're going to find yourself feeling deeply unsatisfied as a Moon in Gemini in 10th house because you crave novelty. You crave a sense of mental stimulation in your career. And so many Moon in Geminis can find that a field where they're researching new topics commonly could be fulfilling, or a Moon in Gemini in 10th house could find that being in more of a social role where they're interacting with new people and having new conversations could also be fulfilling. Simply put, a Moon in Gemini needs to feel that they get to use their mental muscles in their career, and additionally, this is something that can bring them the most success. When it comes to love, the Gemini Moon in 10th house may feel like they seek something that is much different than what the stereotypes say of what true love means. In the sense that I feel like in modern day world, we talk about this level of, oh my gosh, so much depth when it comes to love. And though that is something that every human being wants, the sense of depth and vulnerability, that comes less important to a Gemini Moon, or at least it doesn't show up in the stereotypical way. Any Gemini Moon in love feels the most loved, appreciated, and emotionally fulfilled when they get to share their ideas. I have a sister who has a Gemini Moon, and what makes her feel most loved is when she gets to ramble about her latest research, the things she loves, and have a more lighthearted conversation. And I think this is something true across the board for all Gemini Moons. They want to feel the sense that their knowledge, their information, their thoughts are valuable. So this stereotypical intimacy of deep, vulnerable conversations, that's not what makes a Gemini Moon feel most loved. When it comes to love, this Gemini Moon is going to feel more loved when they feel like they get to share and ramble. And so say word vomit, I call it, with their partner. But when it's specifically in the 10th house, they want to feel like there's an authority for this. As we find with any Moon in 10th house, as I've interpreted, is that a Moon in 10th house wants to feel like they have an authority in love because they crave to be recognized overall. They want to love where they feel more recognized. So a Gemini Moon in 10th house in love may find themselves feeling like they want to find a sense of connection through being seen as an authority for their knowledge. The more that their partner can put them on a pedestal for their ability to acquire information, their mental capabilities, their intellect, the more love they're going to feel. Additionally, with that, as we find with any Moon in 10th house, and in this case with the Moon in Gemini, the Moon in Gemini in 10th house may be less attached to the ideas of love because they find their emotional fulfillment through their career. So they'd rather probably have someone who's just as interested in something working on their own career path alongside them as they pursue their own career interests. And we've already talked a lot in the overall general interpretation of a moon in Gemini in 10th house, how they show up in career. But just to recap, a moon in Gemini, when it comes to career and to finances, is going to show up seeking adaptability and versatility. These people are channeled or driven by their mental energy. So when it comes to their career, if they have a career that allows them to embrace their mental adaptability, versatility, intellect, they're going to find themselves highly in pursuit of that thing. These may, I would say, arguably have an obsessive tendency. The moon in Gemini in 10th house may be the type who's obsessed with their career. Not in the way Scorpio energy would, but in a way that they're just hyper focused or fixated on their career. Now, on the other hand, if they do not have a career path that makes them feel like they're getting to use their mental skills, the moon in Gemini can come across as very scattered in their career, always pursuing many different interests. I would guess that this moon in Gemini is someone who has 100 different side hustles that they're doing all at once, whether it's dog walking, working as a barista and a server, and starting an online business, teaching people how to code or something. The moon in Gemini is going to seek adaptability and novelty in their career. So they may have a tendency, if they don't have a career that allows them to adapt their mental or to adapt and use their mental energy, they're going to find themselves changing career paths commonly. When it comes to finances in particular, because the moon in Gemini wants to find a sense of novelty in their career, they may find themselves seeking novelty in the way that they spend. The moon in Gemini will be highly experience driven in the way that they spend. And so I would think that the moon in Gemini in 10th house is going to spend on things that allow them to pursue more mental interests. Additionally, with this being in the 10th house, they may use their money in a way that allows them to be more dynamic in their career. So this is spending on having more success in their career so that they can maybe hire out, or spending on their career in ways that bring novelty. This is someone who could, let's say in an entrepreneurial setting, say, I'm going to buy this latest course, so I'm going to buy this latest plug-in of some kind so I can change my career. These are people who spend their money in a way to bring novelty, probably to their career, or to bring themselves a sense of recognition. So spending on the things that help them be recognized is something that's going to show up for any 10th house moon, and will show up for a moon in Gemini in the 10th house. So if you just watched all this video and thought this is me to a T, or some of this resonates, how do I actually align to this? I can't just go switch career paths. I want to wrap up today's video by talking about some practical advice / self-care recommendations for the moon in Gemini in 10th house. Because as I say all the time, really our moon sign is one of the 3 most important aspects in our chart. The other 2 being the north and south node, which can arguably be considered just one. And so living by your moon sign is the key to living a life that you love. In the end, no matter what we do, how much success we achieve, what purpose we find, our moon sign is the little toddler we have to carry around for the rest of our lives that demands fulfillment. So how can you find more fulfillment in simple ways as a moon in Gemini in 10th house? The core key concept that I want you to remember with this moon sign placement is that you seek novelty, flexibility, adaptability, and so to say, mental stimulation, words, in your career. You want to be recognized for these qualities, and you want to bring these qualities to a profession. So I want you to ask yourself with your career, the top thing I'd recommend is, how can I make my career currently feel more versatile, more adaptable? Let's say you work a stereotypical job of customer service, or you work as a server or barista. For one, these actually aren't terrible career fits because you're doing something adaptable, but how can you bring more curiosity to the people you're engaging with? Being more mentally engaged with the people you interact with in your career can be a simple way that maybe a Gemini moon can find more mental fulfillment in their career. Additionally, what are the things that light you up mentally? Simply put, one way I frame the idea of the moon in Gemini in 10th house, if you're not able to change career paths, or maybe you feel like you just need more pathways for this fulfillment, this energy, the 10th house is also the house of recognition, simply put. So where can you go be an authority for your mental capabilities? Like starting a group is the stereotype here. Start a group on a group study, or start some form of group where you get to be the leader and share your mental energy. So this could be a writing club or a poetry club, I think of, or whatever niche interest you have. Maybe it's crocheting, I don't know. Whatever it is for you, starting a group where you get to be the authority that is recognized for what you do. Additionally, as I will say, for any 10th house moon, you need to put yourself in fields where you have the opportunity to be recognized. Recognition is something that you thrive on. It's very similar to many projectors in human design who have to be recognized. We thrive on recognition. And so with the Gemini moon in 10th house, how can you put yourself in places, digitally or physically, to be recognized for these mental strengths? Additionally, I think it's also very helpful for my Gemini moon in 10th houses to give themselves that recognition as well. This can really go a long way. Giving yourself that credit. What is your mental gift? As I said, this can really play out in more introverted or extroverted ways for my Gemini moons. Maybe you're more of the social type whose mental gift is more about being able to communicate with people. Maybe it's more about research for you. Maybe you're more introverted. Maybe you are a master of crafts, so to say, and you can learn anything really fast, jack of all trades. Whatever it is, give yourself that credit for what you're good at, because by giving yourself that recognition, you not only spiritually attract more recognition, but this in and of itself, I've noticed, has given a lot of Moon and Geminis I've worked with a higher level of fulfillment by recognizing their mental talents. And of course, finally, supporting and surrounding yourself with other people who are mentally stimulating is essential as a Gemini moon in 10th house. Yes, you want this more as an authority and more recognition here in your career, but also just connecting with people who stimulate you is going to bring you great fulfillment. So that is all I have for you on the Gemini moon in the 10th house. Let me know down in the comments below if you have this placement and if this video resonated for you. I am doing a series talking about every single moon sign and every single house. So please let me know down in the comments below, what is your moon sign house placement? Which ones you want to hear about next on the channel? It's 144 different videos I got to film. So let me know what you want to hear about next, as this will take a long time to go through this series. And be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and stay tuned for more videos. If you want to learn more about your moon sign and house and how it's being impacted in your chart, if you want to get more practical ways to align to this part of your chart based off of your unique life setting and experience, then I invite you to book a reading down in the description box below, where in 30 minutes or 1 hour, we can dive deep into your soul's unique energetic imprint. And finally, with that as well, if you want more practical guidance to the stars, if you like today's video and you want to learn more practical ways to apply your astrology to your life, then I invite you to join my free newsletter down in the description box below, where I send 2 emails a week, one talking about transits, one talking about your natal chart, and giving you a quick and simple guide into how to incorporate these into your life. It's a free newsletter. You also get offered, oh my gosh, words, guys, are hard. You also get exclusive deals on my readings and my favorite crystal products. So join that down in the description box below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Sincerely hope you enjoyed. Once again, my name's Isabel, and from my heart to yours, namaste.